Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. This was an idea that was put in a comment by somebody, well, it's quite a while ago now, but I've kept it to one side. It's a bit like one shelf at a time, but it's called What's Growing and What's Not. And it's a strange concept. One shelf at a time is where I literally pick up each plant on the shelf and have a good look at it and a chat about it. This is faster than that. This is point the camera at the plant. Is it growing or is it not? And move on to the next one. So we should get a lot in, but I'm going to have to go a bit steady because obviously bending is, well, not on at the moment. Crouching's okay, but getting up's not so good. But I'll see what I can do. I've been, well, relaxing yesterday and a lot of today as well. My back is not. I was expecting to have a night's sleep, get up this morning, everything's fine, and it's not. So I've still got to be careful. Right, I'm going to start down here. Restrepias just grow all the time. They don't have a I'm not growing period unless they're sulking. The thing to note with these is this. If you get this on your new growths continuously, then the plant's not hydrating properly. I think that's an old new growth. This is a new one. This is a new one. I think this plant's okay now. This is just an old one. That one up there is fine. This one here is fine. Plenty of new growths. This one's okay. New growths. Couple not quite opening as well as they should, but this hasn't long been repotted, so it should pick up soon. And then the two little ones are growing on nicely. Oh, right, that's that. Now, up the back are 3 Miltoniopsis. The one on the end there, you can see two nice new growths, and the back half of the plant has rotted. Luckily they're separated, so it won't take the other one down. The next one along has new growths. There's one to the right coming out of the leaf and one by the label, so that one's growing. And then the big hybrid, that's got some new growths coming as well. And then next to that we've got Masdevallias. Now that first one there has got a nice new growth to the right. That right leaf is a new growth. This one here has new growths, so it's growing. And this little one here that I wasn't too happy with is growing. These are two new growths coming here. So those are growing okay. And then along the front here, this is a couple of species Oncidiums recently repotted. They're growing okay. They've got new growths. This is not growing at the moment, but it's a bit of a strange thing because this was the front. Actually, it is. There's new growth here, so it is starting to grow. Oh goody. And then here, these two are going to have to be potted on soon. These are my two from Mathers. These two plants between them are probably worth more than all of the plants on this rack added together. They are very expensive plants, but they need potting on. They're both coming into growth now. Both got nice new growths, and they just need the outside edge of the media teased off and some new media tucked down the side of the pot to last them another year. That's what it's for. Right, up here, Aliceara. This plant will not go. It's been sulking and not achieving anything for 3 years now. It's growing new growths, but then it's done that every year and it hasn't bloomed, and these bulbs are not full size. So I don't know what that's going to do. I know where it's going to go if it doesn't pick up soon. What is this? This is, oh, it's a Cambria. This has beautiful blooms on it when it blooms, but it's growing. It's got nice new growth. Right, next to that we've got my two Paphiopedilums. Now this is Blackjack, and this has got a new growth that is growing slowly, but then that's what they do. But it's growing, that's all I'm interested in. This is the species, well, it's a hybrid, and it's just looks like there is a sign of a new growth down at the base there. So I think that is going to be the new growth. This thing here is, that's Tahitian Dancer. Nice blooms, nice open spike with many blooms but spaced out, not squashed up together. We've got 2 new growths coming on this, both off the either side of this bulb basically, so that's coming into growth. This is a Nellie Isla. Would you expect that to be growing? Of course not. And is it growing? No. They do that, but it's not dying, so that's lasted better than some of the others. That's the yellow Nellie Isla, which is a bit of a pretty blooms must-have purchase. Then up there is Trigonopus. There is no sign of life on that plant at the base. The new growth progressed last year and matured, and it's done nothing since. This one here has a new growth that's sort of maturing. It's a Latoria type, I forget which. I think it's Roy Tokunaga. Let's see if I can just twist this round to get the... Yeah, Roy Tokunaga. So there is a new growth on it, but it's not actually growing anything new at the moment. And then up here we've got this, which I've forgotten what that is. And then this back bulb with the new growth is the bit that goes with this. So that's Anna Claire, Odontoglossum Anna Claire. And that was the front part of the plant, and that was the back bulb that's discoloured, but it does have a new growth. And this is my giant Masdevallia that I thought had a nice new growth on it, and it's decided it's got 2, not 1. So we've got 2 nice new growths coming on that. So you could say on this rack, most things are growing. There's a couple of, there's the Nellie Isla doing nothing, the Roy Tokunaga's maturing a growth but there's no new ones, and the Trigonopus is doing nothing. So there are a few things not behaving. And then we move on to this one, and my infundibulum has no signs of new growth at the base yet, but it's a healthy plant. That's the last cane it grew, the one to the right, and that does have a bud coming on it. This was the cane that has been in bloom for some considerable time and has now finished, which is why I brought it back up here. This is an unnamed hybrid black hair type. I think you could safely say that's a happy plant. It's doing okay. And I think, looking at my black hair types, there aren't any scale. So the hot box has cleared the scale off of them, which is good because they do not like the systemics. They often dump their leaves. My Kuniko, I'll get there in a minute. Hang on. 2 problems. Problem number 1 and problem number 2. And number 2 can become less of a problem by coming out there. Don't have a snooze in the sun. Do your cat thing. He'll probably turn around and come straight back up to the door because I haven't gone out with him. Getting very strange in his old age. Right, so Kuniko has come back into bloom, and we've got some green stuff growing. We've got nothing coming from the base of the plant. I think I might rescue the kikis off of here and start a new pot. It's got 3 nice kikis with roots, because this plant as such is not happy, even though it's come into bloom. And this is Hibiki. It's alive, but it's not really growing. It sort of has growths that look like they're growing, but they don't seem to be progressing very much. But I mean, those are 2 new growths there, so it is growing. But it's in coir type media, which is very sensitive to staying wet too long, which this plant doesn't like. So I've been watering this by filling up the tray and letting it soak up, which seems to keep it going, but it's going to have to come out of that pot sometime. Right, down here we've got 2, oh no we haven't, we've got 1. We've got a Sologeny, and this is Moriana. And this is, you could say it's not growing because it's maturing. Latest 2 growths here are maturing growths. So it's not growing any new stuff at the moment. And then we've got my, oh God, that name's not going to come, is it? It hasn't got a tag either. Roseoglossum, Rawdon Jester, and it's not growing, and it hasn't grown a new growth for a while now. So not quite sure what that one's doing. It was a much bigger plant and it got split in two, and one of them went to somebody else. Who was that? That was probably Carol, come to think of it. I wonder if that one's still going, because mine's not. It's just sitting there. You know, the leaves are healthy, the bulbs are plump, but it won't grow, and it's never bloomed. And then down the bottom is a strange thing, which is obviously growing. There's new growths all over the place on this. This is a Anachilium, which is basically a Prosthetia, probably. A lot of names getting mucked about within that arena, but this one's got a lot of new growths coming on it, so it's doing okay. Oh, it's got down here. Now I've got to get up again. Ow! Oh, ow! Right, so that's this side. Oh, ow! I shouldn't have done that. That's this side of the grow room done. And next time we have a go, we'll do that lot over there, except for the top shelf, which I did as a one shelf at a time not too long ago. But we'll do everything else tucked away in various places. So my moss tray has got some interesting plants in it. It's got a nice fern that I'm going to take out and pot up. It's got an oak tree, so obviously an acorn got in there when it was outside. Oh, I don't know. But, yeah, and the plants for this area here and a couple of other places are hopefully going to be on their way at the beginning of next week, so they should arrive midweek. I sent a list, well, Carol sent me a list of what she's... Look, there's a hornet. Can you see it? That's a rare sight. I haven't seen one of them for years. I hope you saw that, because obviously I couldn't zoom in on it. I haven't seen a hornet for years. Wonderful creatures. Just don't annoy them, basically. They're not aggressive like some people think. Wasps are more aggressive than hornets, even though hornets are 3 times the size. Just don't annoy them, basically. Let them go in peace and they will, sort of thing. Yeah, so Carol sent me a list of what was available, and I looked them up and found out what sort of conditions they might like. Some were excluded as a consequence because I haven't got the right conditions for them. And I sent a list of what I would like and made an inquiry as to whether there were any others, things I fancied that weren't on Carol's list, and she said she hasn't got them. It's reasonably obvious, or they would have been on the list, wouldn't they? Pushing me luck. But anyway, I've chosen the plants that I would like. Hopefully they will be on their way next week, weather permitting. That's not boiling hot, which is unlikely in May in this country. So not boiling hot for the transport side of things, and also not chucking it down with rain, because Carol's got to get out in the garden and lift the plants and obviously wrap the roots and everything and get them boxed up and go and take them to Postman Pat and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully we will have a box of goodies middle of next week. And by then my back needs to be better, because I need to get them in the ground. The alternative is I've got to get them in pots. And as far as my back's concerned, they are equally as bad as each other. You know, they're as bad as each other. The only difference with the pots is I suppose I could do them on the table in the garden, so it would be standing up. But I think I'd rather just get stuff in the ground. And then as I get the hose out to water the bonsai and the plants I've already done, they can be watered in on a regular basis. New plants for the first year need to be mollycoddled. They need to be watered in and kept, especially those that are going to get some sun. Then they can rest for the winter. Many will die back to nothing in the winter anyway. Some die back in the summer and come out again sort of late winter. But once you get into that colder weather and, you know, our more rainy season starts, called winter, they don't need looking after anymore. And the following year, the second year, they should be established and they shouldn't need the looking after sort of thing. Just water in, you know, hot, dry spells when we don't get any rain for a while. So that's coming soon. Now, Tomorrow's video is the Project Orchid video. I haven't got a clue which one it is. But it's plant number 7, whichever one that is, and so that'll be tomorrow's video. No video on Saturday. I'm out all day at Burnham's, hopefully having a wonderful time and not complaining about my back all day long. I mean, you laughed this morning. I thought, my car is filthy. Well, I cleaned the inside, you know, give it a quick hoover, and I thought, should I be doing this, bending over, hoovering? Do it gently, do a little bit, stand up, walk round. So anyway, I hoovered the car and I give it a quick wipe over with a cloth. Inside, I thought, oh, it's absolutely fit. I'm going to go up the car wash. So car wash number 1, you pull into the garage, but you've got to go through the pumps to get round the back to where the car wash is, and it was busy. So I had to queue. And I had to sit behind somebody getting petrol when I wasn't getting any. And the person behind me did not look pleased. So then the person in front moved off. I drove through round the back. Both car washes, they've got 2, are in pieces. Maintenance. I thought, oh, blow it. Well, I'll go up the other one then. It's a bit more expensive, but it is actually a better car wash. And when I got there, the bloke did the old hand across the throat thing as I pulled up. They're busy maintaining that one. And I'm thinking there's only 2 car washes and they're both being maintained on the same day. How stupid can you get? And if there's only 2 car washes, I wouldn't have thought there was enough work for 2 maintenance crews to actually exist and earn a living. So anyway, I had to come home with a dirty car. So be it. It's the inside that matters, you know. Once you get in it and shut the door, you can't see the outside anyway. So yes, so we shall be off to Burnham's on Saturday. A nice leisurely pace and hopefully have a nice day out. I'm not planning on buying anything. That won't stop me buying anything, but I have no plans. I have no goal, no target plant to get or anything like that. I'll have a look round and a think when I get there. And I may still come home with no plants. We shall see how we go. And I shall see you next time. Thanks for dropping by. Oh, I hope you could... I know I got dirty windows, but I hope, you know, the people with the big screens, you know, I would hope in hell on a phone, but the people with the big screens, I hope you could actually see that hornet. They are often loners. If I start seeing a few in the garden now and again, it means there's a nest not too far away. Although it could be half a mile away, you know, they do travel. But it will be nice for them to visit the garden now and again. I enjoy seeing those. So we'll see how we go. What's that daft cat doing? Oh, I can't stop him. There's a plant that he keeps chewing on. And it's a seedling from that conifer tree. It's not something he should be chewing on. It's going to make him sick. But you can't explain to cats, you know, you can see I'll see if I can zoom in on it. I left this, when I tried to sort the weeds out, I thought, Mojo needs some grass. And I left him. Look, a lovely clump of nice green grass. And what does he do? Eats weeds. I don't know. Sometimes I think cats are incredibly, well, they're not intelligent as such. They're very streetwise creatures. And then other times I think they're totally brainless. Well, at least he's out in the garden having a walk round. So that's good. Anyway, I shall see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.